This week on the Spike and Jones podcast.
You ever have one of them dreams you wake up and your life is just unsure? You're worried? I had one. I had a lot of them. You should hear these things.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Spike and Jones.
Weirdest dream last night.
Yeah.
First off, I had a dream about you, but just a touch and go. You were in a much broader, weirder dream. I got a text. I got a text from you about
because I'm broad and weird.
No. In a broader and weirder dream, which actually I do want to tell you about. It's so off the map. But
okay.
I got a text from you for a different topic for today, and I thought, oh, that's a better topic, and then I dismissed it. And I can't remember what that word was, but you had a better topic.
In your dream?
In my dream. Because we're gonna, you asked me about a topic to kind of deep six today, and I thought, how about division? Not the math equation, but what our country's teetering on. Mm-hmm. But in my dream, okay, and I woke up and I told my daughter about this. My mother-in-law's visiting. Okay. I don't know if that's got any bearing on my dreams or not.
It's probably a big weight.
No, I love her. She's adorable. She's adorable. And she lives in Albuquerque, and she doesn't come often. And she's just here for 3 days, and then she's going off on a rather long European trip with a friend of hers. In my dream, I'm driving along, and I'm into a neighborhood of big old houses. And I'm not talking about, dynasty sites, big old houses, but where I was, but I'm trying to put it, in perspective. Sure. I'm talking about a house that is probably 5,000 square feet.
Okay, so more like Falcon's Crest
of old house. I'm talking like a house like.
Come on, disagree.
No, it was good.
Come on, give me something.
It was
man.
good. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to because dreams I remember, but they leave me quickly. And it's the kind of houses like it's grand. It's 3 stories, but the top one's like a full attic dormer that's sloped. That kind of thing. Not a Munsters kind of place, but a big squared house.
Sure.
With grand doorways. And I noticed because I'm driving along, and all of a sudden I'm amongst these houses, and they're not on property. They're just right next to each other. And that's kind of how I was raised in that type of a architectural layout. But everything in this house was on the front lawn, all the furnishings, all the appliances, like they're having a yard sale. Uh-huh. And it was all very old quality shit. So I turned my car around and I went in. Or I backed down to this, what I assume was a garage. I'm thinking, what can I fit in my minivan? I'm in the minivan. In my dream, I'm in a goddamn minivan. First off, that's weird.
Yeah, the best minivan in the world.
I know, but I don't dream about a Lamborghini. I'm not in I'm not in a nice car. I'm in the best minivan on earth. And I go in, and it's like decorated almost. And I want to use the Addams Family as a reference point, but it's cluttered with very, very, very fine furnishings, paintings, antique ornamentation. And it's everywhere, like a hoarder,
right?
Of quality antiques. And I'm looking, oh my God! And it's room after room after room, and there's no practical layout of the room, of the patterns of the rooms, and big staircases that go up like out of nowhere into the next level. And I meet a gentleman there. And all of a sudden, my daughter's with me. My younger daughter is with me.
They just materialize.
Right there, but all of a sudden now she's walking with me. We meet this gentleman who reminds me of somebody of like the 1890s. He's, little mustache. His hair's, parted in the center and pushed to the sides, and he's got good dress on. A time period type dressing. And I'm still looking around stuff, and Darby's getting fascinated with stuff. And as I'm talking to this gentleman, he's getting darker, like he's turning to wood almost. And I come to the realization while Darby's looking, and I'm still fascinated by all the rooms the different rooms that we're going in of just ornate and incredibly museum quality shit. Mm-hmm. And I realized that this guy's a ghost and he's dead. And I realized that Darby and I need to leave, and I'm not that I'm worried about her safety, but I just we should be going. We should get out of here.
Right. You felt like a spiritual thing that was heavy.
Well,
you wanted to get out of there.
Well, no, I realized, so this isn't natural.
Right.
There's something. House is not natural. This person isn't alive. Okay, and I'm cool with spirit world. I'm cool with all that shit.
You're down with it.
I believe that I don't know everything.
Right,
That's enough
right.
for me to put credence to it. And we leave, and we go into but next thing you know, we're in another one because there's like an amazingly beautiful doorway, and I just got to go in. And it's more of the same, but it's more cluttered, and it's more ornate, and there's 3 women in there. And Darby's with me, and at this point, I know that these are ghosts going in because of the last house. And I'm losing this. I'm losing these memories. I told her about it this morning before I took her to school. But I know that at that point, like, we can't stay here. We can't stay. You know, we're talking to them, and we know, and they're just falling all over Darby, and not like in a snatcher kind of way, but just they know that she needs things.
They're like fawning over her.
Yeah, they want to give her things. They want, well, take this. I want to take this and take this. Like, we gotta go, and they're just trying to. And I know that they're ghosts because every time I try to leave and get away from them, they're ahead of us again in a different place in the house, and they're more engaged with her and more talking about her, and she, and I come to those, she's going to be science. She's going to do science, and they're trying to give her things that will help her. And I'm trying to leave the house, and these one tall woman with long wavy hair and two women with her that were a similar build but lesser height and stature. She was clearly the dominant personality. And we get out of the house, and Darby's got like this jacket that they gave her and this other thing. I can't remember what it was, but as we're trying to leave and walk out of the neighborhood, there are other places that we kind of have to go through to get out, and we're not quite into them that deeply, and there's not surrounded by all these antiquities, and we're trying to get out of this neighborhood, and I'm getting out, and as I'm leaving, I say, okay, here's a gas station, an intersection, a civilization, and we're good. I'm out of this. And I look back, and there's like a thing called Northpointe was the name on this stone entryway to this community. And I'm thinking, what the fuck?
Well, what does this mean?
I know. Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah.
And I was talking to my mother-in-law after I took Darby to school this morning, went home.
So this is not, okay, this part this is...
This is real.
This is real.
Okay, I'm awake.
Okay.
That was the end of my dream, was me coming to the realization, okay, she's safe, we're out. But I wanted to know where this was. I'm going to go back for that yard sale or for some reason I wanted to know where it was, because I wanted to remember where it was so I could go back.
Right.
I know that much. And my mother-in-law was like, wow, that's okay, that's weird. And it was vivid. I mean, it was a vivid dream. It was everything. I could put my hands on everything in the dream. And it was all contextually fluid. It wasn't like, all of a sudden I'm in a mushroom room and I'm in a marshmallow zone and all of a sudden I'm in a combat zone. There was a commonality and a thread to the whole journey.
Like it's something that you would have done if had been real. If you were actually there, you would have gone up this stairwell and you would have gone in this room.
That's in my personality trait, to be fascinated by and to want to pursue those kind of things. Mm-hmm. I get it. That's me. That's kind of who I am. And then Darby was there when she wasn't there when I saw it and pulled over. And these women wanted to. They saw her for what this is like. This is oh my God, it's her. And blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, what does this mean? I'm talking to my mother-in-law. She's God, I wish I knew anything about dreams. So well, I did take some dream analogy or analysis classes. Mm-hmm. I can't say it, but I remember doing it. Some dream analysis courses when I was doing psychology studies in college and sociology studies in college. And it seems to me in reflective analysis of this, I lost an uncle recently, and I lost my mom less than 5 years ago. My uncle, he left us a little something, my brother and I, and something that could make a difference in somebody's life. Not like we didn't, land in Bel Air when the Fresh Prince, but, and I'm thinking as in hindsight, you know what? It was about nice things. It was about opulence. It was about the deceased, and it was about her. Clearly, it's my brain knowing, look, that this happened for that reason. This is what is supposed to happen with what your uncle was able to do for you. Is her. Mm-hmm. Make sure that she's got the tools to do what she can do.
Weird.
I mean, and I know, and you know me, and I'm just like, it's like I've seen a ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what I must be looking like. My eyes must be looking like right now. It's like I've seen a ghost.
Yeah, it does. You actually look a little discombobulated today.
Yeah, I'm ill at ease.
Yeah. Do you have any family that owned any property, called Northpointe or anything like that? That you were seeing some...
Not that I'm aware of.
Weird ghostly past.
Some connection to my ancestry. I don't. Yeah. Not that I know of.
Nobody obviously really knows what the afterlife is like. If if dreams are actually somehow caught between the space of what we want and some form of reality in another world sort of idea.
Right.
But I love the idea of you doing some research and then finding that, I don't know, in 1880 in, say, lower New York, Pennsylvania, somewhere in your world, right? I mean, obviously the Baltimore up to, say, the northern parts, there would be family that owned an estate or two, and yet you had like 3 great aunts that be wild? that were spinsters that didn't have children,
right,
and then they dote on your daughter. I love that idea of their otherworldly selves, waiting for Spike and his children to pass so they can spend eternity with you. Crazy stuff. I love that idea.
Well, I mean, this weekend I have a station commitment and I can't watch my daughter go do something. This competition that she's in, and it's the state finals, and she could go on to globals if she wins.
Wow.
And I know that that's bearing on me that I'm not going to that. So maybe that had some bearing in my,
little guilt.
Give her what she needs, or maybe she's the one you got to be focusing on, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, I don't know. It could all be pizza at 11:30 at night. I don't know.
Or another viewing of Django Unchained.
Right. No, I didn't do that. I don't know. But it was just so vivid.
Yeah.
And it was funny because, I mean, when I was in the first house with the gentleman that was, changing before my eyes, Darby's like running around the house, and I'm trying to keep eyeballs on her. Hun, I'm yelling, stay here, stay close. I need to see you. We need to be going.
Her. Right.
And she's like a rolling cart moving through the place. So it's a big place, and I'm like, you got to, hey, and I'm literally, talking to him and looking at things and keeping my eyes on her. It was bizarre, man.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was an amazing dream.
Was your dream in color?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you know the whole thing about the Addams Family, right? That the set was pink?
No.
Yeah. There's actual, it's really cool. You can go on the internet and look it up, Addams Family set. And they showed the photos of what the set looks like.
It was pink.
It's actually pink.
Did they dress in pink?
Tons and tons of pink. Well, because the black and white, right, the tones of these various pink and chartreuse and all these weird variables.
They became varying shades of gray.
Right. And that's how they designed the show. And it's incredible. You look at the interior, it's just bright pink walls, pink carpet.
How did they do that?
I don't know.
I mean, how did the actors do that?
I don't know. But it's like pinks and greens and yellows everywhere. Just tons of
really
pinks and
because
greens.
when they transferred to black and white footage, it popped.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is
cool. I wondered if you dreamt in pink.
Is there a thing that if you dream in color, you dream in black and white? I mean,
supposedly,
I should know that.
Human beings don't dream in color.
Really? Well,
I don't think I ever really. I mean, when I'm dreaming, you know how you catch yourself every once in a while going, "I'm dreaming."
Mm-hmm.
You actually say it in your dream.
Yeah, this is not real, and I'm dreaming.
Yeah. But I've never once said, "I wonder if this is in color." You know what I mean? I just wake up and go like, "Blah blah blah." Here's the experience, and then I think about, well, yeah, but I saw green or I saw red, so therefore I dreamt in some form of color.
Okay.
But I've always heard it was, like at least our normal dream state is black and white, like a dog.
Yeah. This place was opulent and hoarded. These houses.
Yeah, I can
both
imagine
of these
that.
houses.
The way you described it perfectly.
I mean, and it was like big rooms. I mean, not like halls or anything, but like large size rooms, walls covered in paintings and pictures and tables everywhere and furniture everywhere, and almost like you couldn't move through these rooms. There was so much stuff there, and the tables were set with fine chinas and linens and clocks on mantles and lamps on tables, and everywhere was more statuary and blah 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 blah. Huh. It's just amazing.
Were you ever a reader of history? I mean, were you into history when you were a kid?
I am a fucking fiend
about
for
it
history.
Now.
Yeah,
how about when you were younger?
Always have been.
Okay.
I was raised in the Mid-Atlantic, on the East Coast, so I was raised in the cradle, and not to be too corny, but I was raised in the cradle of this nation's birth.
Right.
And our summers, and I've told you this many times, our summers we're going to Gettysburg, we're going to D.C., we're going to Philly.
Americana, you grew up in Americana.
We're going to Bull Run. We're going to see the biggest, Union military mistake in history. We're going to go. We're going to go to Antietam. We're going to Shiloh. We're going to Shenandoah.
Oh man, I went to Antietam in '89. That place is haunted.
Oh, they're all fucking.
It's crazy.
Busy.
Like I was actually, I walked up to the fence because there's at the national park here you can pull off, and then there's a fence, and you can see the field out there. And I was like, I don't want to go in the field.
No.
I didn't want to go out there.
It's
I could
full.
feel it.
They're
It
full.
was totally funky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of doing what we had planned on, can we talk about
we got
the
a short
afterlife?
time today.
Well, can we talk about the afterlife?
Yeah.
Can we talk about your belief in another plane of existence?
Sure.
And I don't mean this, and I want to be careful because I know how dear your beliefs are to you.
Sure. I'm not going to be offended.
No, I know, but I want to make sure that I give deference and respect, because I have a similar belief and respect for a higher power and an afterlife, but I don't give them their due on earth. I don't live my life to the respectful level that it would deserve if I truly did believe, and I think that I do. But if I did, I would do better. Okay.
It's like if you were standing in front of God at this moment,
I'd be talking like a car salesman.
Yeah.
I'd be Rudy Polanski. I'm Polish too. How you doing? My God, you know what I got have I got the chariot for you?
Yeah.
You know what? It just came in. A lady drove it. She never left. I mean, the horses barely broke up a sweat.
On fire. You have no idea this thing is on fire.
Fire. It's so hot, and it's for you. I mean, it's like you were created to create this. You know what I'm saying?
This guy named Gabriel just dropped it off.
It's the craziest thing. You should hear the horn on this thing. So
it's shaped like a big conch.
It's the funniest thing. We had a house on Queen Anne when we first got married, Melissa and I. We, our first home together, where Darby was born and where Ryan was raised. And it was a big old 1907. And we had a friend who was a spiritualist, who was a medium, and she felt that blah, blah, she could do this, she could do that.
Okay.
And she came over and looked at the place. Oh yeah, this place is chock-a-block full of, full of life.
Yeah.
She goes, 2 people passed here.
You're like, I'm moving out.
No, we loved it. We loved it.
I live in a place where a guy died.
And we're like, a woman. She goes, a woman raised her family here, and she passed in her sleep here peacefully, and she's still here, and she looks and cares for you, she and your children. She loves that you're here. She genuinely does. And there was a party here in the early 20s, late teens, and someone died here, accidentally but not violently. Someone fell and hit their head and died here, and she's still here. And she's mischievous, but she's not dangerous. And we're like, okay, cool. Okay, I can see that. That's cool. There were days, I swear to God, dude, I'd be looking for stuff, and it'd be nowhere, and I'd be running late, and I'd turn around, and the shit is right in the middle of an empty table. I mean, right alone, nothing but it in an empty table.
Wow.
I mean, that's, I know I didn't miss that whole fucking table when I was looking for the thing I'm looking for.
No, I get it.
I mean...
Like, surprise.
Yeah. Okay, you can go now. I've had my fun.
Yeah. I think about that a lot, too. I think we don't give a lot of power. Wow. See, there's so much I could bring to this.
Do it.
Me, too. I'm like, how much do I want to bring?
Well, here's the thing. Don't worry about thinking about it. Just tell me what you're...
I end up bringing religion into it, which isn't necessarily a good thing.
But it's no less valid than any perspective anybody else could bring to it, and probably more valid.
Well, it's just a thing, but only because, again, I always try to stay away from religion as a thing, because to me, religion is a jeune, right? It's a ism. It's a thing. It's not necessarily. I want to give it validity, but it's so typically. It's leaned on like conservatism or liberalism, or right. It's an ism, and so people go, well, he's blank, and therefore. Blanket statement, right? And so it gets lost in the translation. Right. But I see, if I'm bringing a Christian, literally a Christian perspective to your experiences, and it doesn't, and this isn't biblical. Maybe a better way to put it: if there's Rob's perspective, this isn't this isn't a Christian perspective. This is Rob's perspective. I think that when people die, a spiritual stain is left behind.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, not necessarily negative. I don't mean to say stain in the sense of like it's a bad thing, or like an oil slick or something.
Right.
But that there's a spiritual like fingerprint that's left behind.
Okay.
And I think when it is, when it's a murder or a suicide or something evil has occurred, it's a satanic or a demonic stain.
Okay.
And I think when it's not, nothing.
Okay.
In other words, I only think ghosts are demonic influence. I think ghosts are real in the sense that ghosts are not ghosts. I believe it's demonic.
Really? Mm-hmm. You don't think that a ghost is here leaving that same type of a stain for a spiritual or an enlightening perspective or mission?
No.
Interesting. Why?
I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
I'm just asking why. No.
I don't even have an opinion.
I'm not asking you to qualify or to qualify it, but to quantify it.
Yeah.
I mean, I
People
get.
are gonna think I'm crazy.
No. I get that I get the whole thing about leaving a layer behind, a stain, an essence, a fingerprint, a thumbprint. And if your soul goes one of two directions, then that direction would have bearance over your.
But see, I don't think it's a soul. I don't think it's a person. So meaning, like, if you die in a house.
Okay. Well, no. Your soul moves on.
I believe,
you
yes.
You leave
I do
something here behind. So if your soul,
I believe what was
if your
with
soul,
you.
if your soul moves well, what's left
Ooh,
behind?
I like that.
What's left behind would be, I would think, benevolent. Well, if your soul moves poorly, then I think the remnant would be also dictated and governed by that. Where your soul ended up.
Well, so now I'll jump into what
and
I
I'm
do.
just tagging on your.
Absolutely. I'll jump what I do know because I'm like the worst. I am not a biblical scholar. I'm not the guy who can go like in Matthew 12.
Charlton Heston. That's my biblical knowledge right there. And
right.
Yul Brynner, of all people, Russian. Did you know that? Yes.
But I thought he threw the Ten Commandments at the golden calf.
That's Apocalypse Now. You're thinking of.
Yeah, something like that. That's a great scene, by the way. That's real too, when they cut that cow's head.
Really?
That's real.
Well, of course. What year was it?
It's
70?
a cow.
Yeah, it's a cow.
They actually
We a $7 million anatomically correct mechanical cow.
78. Yeah, that was before the screw the Humane Society. This is Vietnam.
You know what? No stakes were harmed in the making of this movie. Wink, wink.
Yeah, it's a real cow. It's pretty gross. That's
and the after party, the production wrap party was delicious.
Yeah. No, the Bible talks about demons being inside, being in things, being in inanimate objects like rocks, and like in a sense, inhabiting things that they could then
manipulate against. Okay,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so there's a moment where Christ has got his followers and they're like jamming around somewhere, and this guy is possessed. And they say he's not possessed by one person; he's possessed by hundreds of demons. They call it legion, right? Have you heard that term? He says, the demon. He asks, "What's your name?" And he says, "We are legion." Yeah, right? Because he's saying "we," right? And Christ, whatever he does, exorcises them and cast them into pigs.
Okay.
And then the pigs all run off a cliff and jump off. They all run off a cliff and die.
Yeah.
They fall to their deaths.
Is that the no pork thing? Is that why?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
I always thought it was who the comedian was. It's just lack of refrigeration. Yeah. It was just a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tasty thing for something that we're not supposed to eat. But so just that one thing, and I'm sure there's other references to it, but just that one thing, my brain goes, okay, if there can be demonic spirits in inanimate objects, it would make sense to me that if somebody, for example, if somebody dies peacefully in their home, you don't really, like I go to my mom and dad's house. My dad died at my mom's house, I don't walk into the bedroom where he passed away and feel his spirit. Right. I don't feel anything.
Right.
Nothing.
Okay.
But I've gone into places where people have hung themselves, and I definitely feel darkness.
Feel something, yeah.
And I don't know if that's quote unquote demonic spirit that like tricked you into hanging yourself because you should hate yourself because you're ugly and fat and you're a lesbian. You know what I mean? All that crap, right? But it just seems to make sense. Kind of that it might be that way, and so I just think like when people talk about, at least in Malevolence, right? When in these movies where they talk about the house is possessed, or there's evil spirits that say get out and all that stuff, right?
Sure.
Right? That it would be that sort of thing, that it would be spiritual, otherworldly stuff that we can't see, and that it certainly explains why it's not explained, why you can't see it, why you can't feel it, because it's interdimensional. And I mean, if heaven does exist, if Christ is the Son of God, if right, all these things are real, and that faith is the only thing we're to rely on, we're not going to see him anyway. Because the one thing that I'm trying not to go off on a religious tangent, but I'll stop here. at least in the Bible, when Christ did stuff, they still didn't believe it. Only a few of them did.
Right,
and even then,
right.
they were scared shitless.
Right.
Right? Peter, the whole thing, you'll deny me three times.
Yeah.
And Peter's like the one dude who was there seeing all the stuff, and he's like, I can't, I'm not going to get behind that.
They're going to kill me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, and I get why.
Yeah,
right? I get why. But you know, that whole loaves and fishes thing, if that really happened, why wouldn't, right? Why wouldn't the entire group of people be converted?
Right.
They'd be like, holy cow, you mean you fed 5,000 people with whatever?
A fish, a loaf.
Fish, and, you know, 5 loaves or whatever it is, right?
Right.
But they were like, well, show us a miracle. And he's like,
what more? Okay.
You know what I mean? And then, you know,
I'm going to save you a ton on your chariot insurance by switching to Geico.
right. And then when he started preaching, they started moving to the back of the room because they were like, oh, great. He's going to give us food and now he's going to talk about
God, great.
Right?
It's like a timeshare with this guy.
Where's my free 8-inch television?
Really?
Right? So
I can only go on a Wednesday. Who wants to go to Vegas on a Wednesday?
I mean, I don't have an answer. But I love spirit realm stuff, dude. I mean, when I was in college, I was really big into, I'm going to admit, I was really big into test driving the other side. Yeah.
What an interesting way to put living a shitty life.
Yeah. I was willing. I was very caught up in
now hold on.
Show me the money.
Okay. Well, test driving. You say test driving the other side. Now, are you talking about indulging earthly pleasure and wanton, you know,
lust and all that stuff?
Greed, slothfulness, you know, all that.
Yeah.
You and the 7 Deadlies took out to spend a weekend together or 3?
Yeah, but you know, I was really doing that.
Well,
I was starting to do stuff like I for a brief period of time, I actually got involved in pseudo witchcraft.
Okay.
I mean, not witchcraft in the sense of witchcraft. Like somebody'd say, "Hey, dude, you ever see the magic writing thing?" I'd be like, "No, what's that?"
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay.
Don't take me to your dark hole.
And so it's like a Ouija board.
Okay.
Okay. A Ouija board is basically magic writing, except it's just the little thing that points around and points at letters, right?
Uh-huh.
Magic writing is you put a pen, you tape it, you put it through like some form of like a box or something, so everybody can put their hands on it, and then it'll move around and write. Like an Ouija board. Okay. Right? Okay. So you'd ask it questions like, hey, what's what, blah, 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 and then it would give you an answer. And the thing is it would write it. And it would write it. And I asked one time, I said, it mentioned my Uncle David. My Uncle David died when I was 4 years old. He was 11, got hit by a car.
Okay.
And I asked it a question. And I'm the only person in the room that knows the answer. It's my friends.
Okay.
I take my hand off it so I can't control it.
Okay.
And I ask it a question and it gives the right answer. And I was like...
It wrote something. Wow, that hurt.
You know, mic drop. I was just like...
Wow. Okay.
What? You know, it said hit by a car getting off a bus.
It wrote that?
It wrote that.
Legibly? Mm-hmm. So you couldn't, even though you couldn't see what it was writing?
Yes.
And the book, and the box is moving around.
Yes.
People got their hands on it. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I never heard of that.
Yeah. And when that happened...
Mattel? Is this...
Oh, I just thought it was cool.
I mean, was it a game?
No, we made it. We made our own.
I'm
I'd heard somebody talking about it, and so I made my own version of it. I mean, me and my friends, we made our own version of it. You know, we'd have a beer, and then we'd do it, and we'd laugh. Oh, this is so crazy.
Right.
And then
when
one
you
day,
saw that shit.
Yeah. Then one day, so we had. Do you remember Peaches?
Yeah, the books.
Yeah, so
or the folders.
Yeah, for people you don't remember, they're like Trapper Keepers. If you don't remember, Trapper Keepers are you're old or young. But anyway, they were just basically folders you'd keep paper in, and so we had a Peachy, and then we had a whole bunch of maybe 20 sheets of paper stacked on top of it, and then we'd tape them on the corners, and as it would write, we'd pull them off, so you know it could keep going.
Right.
Okay, and I asked a question to this thing. This girl was sitting here. I was sitting here. There was so she's to my north. I'm to her south. And then there's one. So there's 4 of us total, east west, basically 4 around this table. And it started making circles, just zipping around really fast. And then I can't remember what I asked it, but I remember the answer. And it said stopped. And I go, what do you want? And it said, "Kunk," and it shouldn't say it said. It pushed down, like really hard, into the paper. And then it pointed an arrow up towards her with the little arrow, went like this, right? Made an arrow shape. And then it came back down to the bottom. And I said, what does the arrow mean? And underneath it wrote, kill her. Yeah.
So
no, really.
I hear you.
And that was the moment I never did it again, because that scared the shit out of me.
People are touching this box.
Yes.
And so someone's driving it with their hands.
Correct.
Somebody in the room.
The whole idea behind these is that you're inviting spiritual entities to communicate with you. It's a seance.
I get it. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's what you do when you're playing a Ouija.
Yeah.
Playing.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would never ever do any of that stuff. I would never be around it. I would never ever encourage anybody to do it, but I did it. I was 19 years old and I just thought it was hilarious until that moment, and I realized, wow, this is scary. I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And I never did it again.
Good. Okay. Got me creeped out. My fun little dream of helping Malevolence, and now you want to kill somebody.
Well,
I don't mean to fuck with you that hard, but that's creepy shit.
Yes,
dude.
it is. And Byron was asking me about both he and Mike actually made a comment on our Facebook page saying, "Hey, I've been listening to Joan Jett. I love rock and roll, and I don't hear any scary voices."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because it happened to me, man. Yeah, it was real.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you attract this.
I don't know what it is, but so I'll say this, that, and this is going to open up a whole different, conversation or can of worms or something. I have believed since as long as I can remember that I would be martyred for Jesus.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That there's going to come a time in my life where I will be asked to pick him or not, and they'll kill me if I pick him, whoever they are.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it scares me. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I know right now, if you ask me, as much as I can say I have faith and all this other stuff, the fact is I don't know what I'd do. I really don't know what I'd do.
Okay.
I remember a couple weeks ago when we were talking about faith and talking about, I have faith or have the desire, the want to have faith. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of faith, but I also have a lot of want.
Okay.
And it scares me that if that were to occur, somebody were to hold a gun to my children's head and say, pick Sophie's choice, right?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Go on. Pick me.
Take
the gun.
I mean, that's the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
Minds that create that kind of shit scare me.
Are you scared of my mind?
No, not at all. Not at all. Some of the stuff that's written, some of the stuff that's made into movies, those troubled minds that can be that creative to that vein. Mm-hmm.
Like Sophie's Choice, you mean?
No, well, not Sophie's Choice. I mean, I guess I'm minor leaguing this concept. I mean, most creative writing that is evil, most books, films that portray evil.
Okay. I follow you.
They're based in what people have done, I guess.
Yeah, which is scary.
Which is horrific.
Yeah.
Truly horrific. So the people who have that kind of a mind, there's your possession. There's your demonic possession. There's your mental illness for those of you who just want science and don't want to bring any faith into this.
Right.
But
you've had berserker moments. We've all had them.
I've had berserker moments, but not malevolence. I've had rage to the point of physical, the loss of physical control over my rage, but I've never had malevolence to where my intent was to do harm intentionally for the sole purpose of doing harm.
Maybe malevolence is letting your rage, getting numb, used to your rage, and allowing it to own you.
Well,
maybe it's not so much evil. I think it is.
No. I hear you.
Saying, what if?
I mean, people who can conceptualize then act upon just doing harm to others for the sake of doing harm to others.
Right, to pre-plan it?
Yeah, and contemplate and carry out that kind of shit.
I could never go through with it.
Couldn't, of course. God,
now,
good.
under
normal people can't. I would think anyone who can, by definition, by definition, for me, it seems like if you can commit murder, you're mentally ill. because a healthy mind would understand the difference and not do that. I always I understand there's evil in the world, and there's criminal minds. It's a good versus evil, or a right versus wrong breakdown.
Right.
And it's all just a matter of degree at that point, right?
If you're Brad Pitt and your wife's head is in a box. No, but really.
No, I hear you. Well, then you break. That's illness. That's mental illness, right? When you break.
Okay.
I get that. People who are normally not this person become that person when something occurs that breaks them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
that's a mental. That's a physical problem, a mental health problem.
Yeah, I don't know.
And people who start their day there every day and put their head down at night in the same shape and wake up the next day in the exact same shape, those people are broken.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's so
this
many
took a
people,
weird turn, didn't it?
Yeah. This is a blast. You guys don't know, but I'm recovering from a slight short-lived illness, and I walked in the
little gut demon
office today. And Spike goes, "You should go home." No, I got 35 minutes.
Little gut demon for you there.
So we're going to be really short with this today.
Yeah, because it's not funny.
This is not funny. This is not interesting. This is not. I don't
know that it's uninteresting. I wouldn't go there. It's not.
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
No.
Some things aren't. Some days aren't. Some days you're not funny. We can try to, put a happy Casper the Friendly Ghost spin on this shit for you if you want to.
That's true.
Little, but then again, the new Ghostbusters wasn't funny either. Although I heard somebody say they loved it. Isn't that weird? It gets crushed in the cinemas. I haven't seen it. I can't be fair. Have you seen it?
I watched half of it
and left it behind.
I never stop movies.
Okay.
I watched half of it, and I was like, "This sucks."
Okay.
I wish I had.
I heard somebody told me they loved it.
I don't know why. I wish I hadn't seen a preview. Of course, here's the thing. We all know the premise. It's really in a lot of ways. It's a reimagined same movie.
Right.
Right. You got the nerdy guy, the smart guy.
Right.
You got the goofy guy, the fat guy. It's all you got all that stuff.
Formulaic.
It's formulaic.
Yeah.
And the characters are really the same. They just exaggerate the same experiences from the first movie.
Okay, they made it bigger, faster.
They made it bigger, faster, stronger. Yeah, when the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man came out, I haven't even seen it, and I saw a screenshot, and he's like melted in half. You know what I mean? Because he's just pissed off now.
Because he's back.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, oh, come on.
He's still fucking Marshmallow.
Yeah.
Oh, he's angry Marshmallow now.
They made the spirits a lot more dangerous.
Okay.
Right, they made them truly malevolent and dangerous, that they could crush you, destroy you, inhabit you, all that stuff. And granted, they had a little bit of that in the first one when
Rick Moranis was the key master. It's hard to be scared of Rick Moranis says, many fluids for the sloths were the belly of the sloth. That didn't tell you. That's fucking funny.
It's great.
That's funny shit.
And Sigourney was hot in that movie.
Hot in the devil's bunghole. You bet, man.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Oh man, but it was not very good. I don't think. Let's do that. Let's end with that.
Do you remember dreams? Do you remember dreams?
Yeah, I remember maybe 5 or 6 dreams I've had in my life.
In your life, and you still remember them?
I can see them as clear as a bell.
That's funny. I have a good memory of dreams, but they don't stay with me. I don't have long lasting memories of dreams. The one I had last night, while vivid and top of mind in a week, I couldn't probably tell you anything about it.
Well, that's why I wrote that one down that I shared with you a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I recorded it with you and everything.
But you do have dreams you dreamt 20 years ago that you can still remember a dream.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, I had a dream when my ex-wife was I think I shared it with you. Maybe I didn't, but she was walking off a pier and I opened there was a telephone booth at the end of the pier, and I picked it up, and it was God. Did I say? Oh yeah. Yeah. And basically the crux of the dream was
let her go.
Your wife was gonna go if you didn't change your ways. You know what I mean?
Shit.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And it wasn't changing my ways. I wasn't interested in changing my ways, and she left.
Wow. Interesting.
But yeah.
Well, that's okay. Dreams are just you unpacking your suitcase every day,
for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what was going on, and
that weird one with the end times thing that I saw.
Yeah.
That was different. There was thoughts in there, especially the spatiality time thing, meaning that time here is in between time up there, was what was the part that freaked me out, that I realized I don't think that way. Like, to have it explained to me that the reason we were going so slow down here is because we were operating in milliseconds, where eternity is, there is no time.
Right.
And so our conception of time is is everything is moving at our speed, but to heaven, it's moving so slow that God can see everything. If you're God, you can look at everything because it's moving in nanoseconds of speed.
Right.
Well, then you can see everything.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? I love that idea.
I follow that logic. Yeah.
And I didn't come up with that. I mean, I'm telling you, I didn't come. I would like to think I'm fairly smart, but I didn't come up with that.
That was a gift to you.
Yeah.
That's a revelation.
So 48 minutes. I'm so sorry, but I just let's have no choice today.
No, let's go.
It totally sucks.
Okay.
So
thank you for bringing your dead dragon sick ass in here.
I'm not sick.
Yeah. And I'm not befuzzled from my dream last night.
But thanks to anybody who actually listens to this one. I think we should have a drop off and listenership after this one. But
please come back.
We should. There's two things we should do.
Yes.
Don't you think? I know we keep talking about it. We've got to have a guest.
Okay.
We got to figure that out.
Okay.
And I'm not putting it on you.
No. Yes, you are, but that's okay.
Kind of, yeah. We should have a guest.
Does the guest have to be living, or can we invite someone?
Let's go to Queen Anne. And I think we should do soon. If not the live
somewhere.
thing. We should totally do it like at McCrory's or something fun. Have a bar experience. It doesn't have to be. That's very.
Let me ask you this: do you want to invite people to this live thing, or do you want to just do it live somewhere?
I want to do it live somewhere, and I mean,
I don't want to tie it to entertaining someone on site, and I don't want to tie its success to are there people there to watch it. Mm-hmm. I'd like the concept of doing something outside in a public venue where people can figure out what we're doing.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
no problem with that.
But I know Michael'll show up.
From where? Florida?
I think he's in.
Is his visa?
Puyallup.
Is he? I thought he was in Russia.
He might be. Only because, he's local. He's the one local fan.
And I'm pissing him off. Great.
No, but thanks, Spike. I love you, buddy.
Thank you, brother. You too. Sleep well.